certain you remember our discussion of the semi-transparent overlay, YouTube's semi-transparent overlay, which has for a couple of years served as a tremendous asset to be able to get our visitors after they're watching the video or while they're watching the video to go ahead and click right on the video face, hit that overlay, that transparent overlay advertisement, and then end up being sent to the URL of our choice, usually our website or our sales page or somewhere where we can complete the sale. Well, things have changed in the last few months. We started seeing this basically sometime around October or November of last year, 2014. We started to see some inconsistencies in the performance of the overlay. It seems that in certain circumstances, and this doesn't happen every time, the overlay actually costs you ranking. Now, what do I mean by that? We've had a number of circumstances first reported, and then we started seeing it in our own files, where once the overlay was put on a video, the video actually dropped out of the top of Google. We had gotten reports of this from others, but we had never seen it in our own files until, I want to say November, late November. And then we were working with one of our clients' videos, and we noticed that after we put up the overlay on his video, suddenly his number one spot on Google was no longer. His video was no longer on the front page, and for that matter, we really couldn't find it on any of the top pages for that search. We went back and took the transparent overlay off the ad, and boom, within seconds, the video was back on top of Google. Now, I've written to Google about it. I've written to YouTube about it. Those companies absolutely ignore all of these types of requests. It doesn't matter what kind of business you do with them. They won't answer these kind of questions because they're always concerned that somebody is going to game their system. So we don't have a real strong, straightforward answer out of Google or YouTube on the subject. But we do know it's happening. And this brings me back to a point I've made before, and it's really probably the most important thing you can remember about using YouTube to get to the top of Google. And that is the test and retest of any changes you're going to make to your video or the optimization process. Now, over the years, we've tried all sorts of things to not only get to the top of Google, but stay there. And sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes they only work temporarily. Well, we're kind of shocked that the transparent overlay has had a negative effect, but it has. As I mentioned before, the one thing we know about this business is that change is going to be constant. Google is constantly going to be changing their algorithms. YouTube is constantly going to be changing their algorithms. And the only thing we can do to ensure that we stay on top is to test and retest. Watch for the effects of anything we do to our site. Keep careful notes on what changes are affected by anything we do to our videos. And of course, test again and retest again. By saying that, I'm telling you, you should probably continue to put an overlay on your file, watch where it shows up on Google, go ahead and remove it from your file, see if that changes anything. This is going to be a constant state of testing and retesting, and I assure you, in the future, Google and YouTube are going to make changes again, and I'm going to report them here. And you're going to need to be testing and retesting your files and observing your files to make sure that the changes that you employ have the intended effect.